One thing about being in the tennis world is that if you don't pay attention and you only watch the majors, you may think that's the only time there's anything going on in that industry. But I'll tell you what, if you pay attention, there's always a buzz. There's always the next thing. There's always the next tournament and the next announcement. There's always someone making headlines. And today we're going to talk about some of them that are going on right now and that are coming up. Welcome back to the Courtside Queen. Let's talk about what's going on across the net. It was only last weekend when we got a chance to watch the women's final and the men's final at Wimbledon. And what we got to see were two brand new champions that have never won Wimbledon before. Now, as you guys know, on the men's side, I chose Carlos Alcaraz, but it was actually Swiatek Sinner who took the title from the two-time defending champ. I'm sure you've seen it by now, but Swiatek played one of the matches of his life. He did everything right on the court and was able to go home with the title. And then on the women's side, it was Iga Swiatek that took the title. She was never even on my radar as a possibility to win the title, but she did play against someone who was on my radar, and that was Anisimova. And the moment was just too much for Amanda Anisimova in that final. She could not get her footing. She could not make anything work for her. And it was a blowout of epic proportions. But I do think that the next time Anisimova reaches a final, the moment will not be so big for her that she won't be able to handle it better. But congratulations to Swiatek and Swiatek Sinner. Ons Jabeur, former top 3 player in the world, has decided to take a break from tennis. If you've been watching, you know that she was at the top of the game just a couple of years ago. And then over the last year or so, maybe a little bit more, she has been struggling greatly with some injuries. It's like she cannot get through a single tournament without having to retire within a match or even before her match begins. And right now she's saying that she's struggling with her mental health. I don't think that she used that term, but she's saying she hasn't been happy on the court in quite some time. She's not finding the joy. She needs to step back, take a break, regroup, and do all of the things that, listen, we've all been there. We've all needed to take a break from something. And right now it's tennis for her. And I really do think that this break is going to do her some good, allowing her body to heal up so that she can recover from some of the injuries that she's been playing through, but then also allowing her mind to settle, allowing her mind to just relax and begin to appreciate what she has in front of her. Sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And I think that right now, Ons Jabeur taking a break is going to serve her well. And so if she sits out the rest of 2025, and I don't think that would be a terrible idea. We'll see when she decides to come back. But if you're not playing the hard court summer season leading up to the US Open, then there's really not much reason to come back before the end of the season, especially if you're looking to heal and recover both physically and mentally. So we wish her the best. Ons, go ahead and get your mind right, get your body right, and we will see you fresh whenever it suits you best. Congratulations to Coco Gauff, who won the ESPY award for the best tennis player of the year. This is her second time in a row winning this award, and this year she beat out Aryna Sabalenka, Carlos Alcaraz, and Swiatek Sinner to take home that award. Super, super proud of you, Coco. We just hope that you continue to go forward, and we got this US Open coming up. I guarantee you that everybody is going to be rooting for you to win on the women's side. We are coming up on what's really the first hard court tournament of the season. That is the Mubadala Citi Open, which used to be just the Citi Open. I wish it was still just the Citi Open because the other word is kind of hard to say. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but there are a couple of things that we want to talk about as this tournament gets underway on July the 21st. Now, the qualifying rounds began over the weekend, and we are seeing the draw sheet begin to fill with the people that are winning their matches. This particular tournament is a 500 level tournament. That means that whoever wins gets 500 points added to their total points for the year. Now, the thing about a 500 level tournament is that there are 64 players, but the top players get a bye in the first round. And so some of your favorite players that are playing, like a Taylor Fritz or a Ben Shelton or Gael Monfils, Francis Tiafoe on the men's side, to name a few, or a Jess Pegula or Leylah Fernandez that are playing on the women's side, they actually don't know who they'll be playing yet because they have a bye the first round and they won't play until the second round. So right now, there's really not much to go over in terms of the draw. Just know that some of your favorite players will be playing in Washington, D.C. at this 500 level tournament. Now, some news on Nick Kyrgios. He was scheduled to actually play this tournament. He has won this tournament 2 times in the past, and I think he's even been the runner-up 1 time previously. Well, he was in the singles draw and the doubles draw. He has since pulled out of the singles draw. I'm assuming that it is based on what he's been struggling with as far as his wrist or ankle or whatever he has going on right now. He's pulled out of the singles draw. He is right now still in the doubles draw. He's going to be playing doubles alongside Frenchman Gael Monfils. That should be a very exciting match if it comes to pass. I'm not really sure what's going on with Nick's partner, Coco. I haven't seen him on tour in a few months. I'm going to have to look into that because it hadn't even dawned on me that I have not seen him. I'm assuming maybe he's out with an injury because I noticed that he had been getting really, really serious about his singles play and he had started winning a lot of matches. I was really enjoying watching him play. So I'm going to look into what's going on with Thanasi Kokkinakis, and I'll get back to you guys on that. But right now, Nick Kyrgios is not going to be playing singles in Washington, D.C., but he's still slated to play doubles with Gael Monfils. Something else that may be exciting for a lot of people, after being out of the game for several months, actually over a year, Venus Williams was offered a wild card to play in the Citi Open, and she accepted. So she will be playing at least 1 match in DC this coming week. Now, it's exciting because I know that she's been on the practice court. I know that she is excited about getting back on the court. And so we want to see what kind of form she's in. It may take her a little while to get back in practice. We know that Venus is, oh my gosh, I think Venus is 40 now. Is she 39 or 40? I think Venus is 40. She is going to be hitting the court. We know that there's a lot of youth on the court right now. And so we're going to see how she can stand up against whoever she's going to be playing in the first round. But regardless of whether she wins or loses, I think it's most important to just watch her form. It may take her a few matches, a few tournaments to start winning again if she plans on sticking around for a little while. I'm excited to see her. I'm excited to see how she's going to look. She's always an exciting player to play, but always a wild card, especially in her later years, because we never know how she's going to show up, whether she's going to win or lose. So let's see how this plays out. I'm sure we'll be talking more about it. And speaking of Venus Williams, I hope you're ready, but Venus and Serena are actually coming out with a podcast that is set to debut in August. And from my understanding, this podcast is going to be hosted on X, formerly known as Twitter. And the two of them are going to be talking tennis, yes, but life in general. And so if you are a fan of these sisters, if you are a fan of, hearing what they have to say and just watching their lifestyle and the things that they're interested in, then this podcast may be something that you want to pay attention to. I'm sure we'll be talking about it some on the channel. And so I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what it's going to be all about. I want to see how they're going to present themselves to the world on this new video podcast. Now, the Mubadala Citi Open ends on Sunday, July the 27th. However, on July 25th, the National Bank Open, formerly known as the Rogers Cup, is going to begin in Canada. Now, what happens here from year to year is this tournament is played between Toronto and Montreal. And every year, the men and the women swap places that they're playing. And so this year, the men will be playing in Toronto and the women will be playing in Montreal. This is a 1,000 level tournament. And so anytime you have a 1,000 level tournament, not only are they mandatory tournaments for the players on tour if they don't have injuries, but these are the tournaments that the top players definitely want to be at, because if you win, you get 1,000 points added to your tally. And so you can always count on the top players to be playing in Canada. And then right from there, the very following week, they're going to go over into Cincinnati to play another 1,000 level tournament. The tournament in Cincinnati this year will be increased from 1 week up to almost 2 weeks long. And that's going to lead right into the US Open. For the most part, most of the top players will do their best to play both. However, this year we've had something happen that doesn't usually happen, and it has actually opened up the opportunity for a lot of the up-and-coming players in Canada. And here's what happened. Novak Djokovic, Swiatek Sinner, and Jack Draper have all already withdrawn from the tournament in Canada. So they will not be in Toronto this year. They will most likely, outside of any injuries, be in Cincinnati, but they have decided not to go to Canada this year. And that is going to open that tournament up for some other people to potentially win it. Now, this is a big tournament for somebody like a Ben Shelton. It's a big tournament and opportunity for somebody like a Francis Tiafoe, who can potentially go all the way and take this 1,000 level tournament to give themselves momentum to move into Cincinnati and to move into the US Open. And we know that in the US, there's something about playing at like the US Open for US players, because the crowd is so loud and just irate. Irate usually means something negative, but I'm saying it in a good way, that the US players a lot of times are willed into winning, if you might say. And so in all honesty, anything hard court related leading up to the US Open and even leading up to the Australian Open, which is not going to be until 2026, those are my favorite parts of the year. This is the time of year where I usually start going to tennis tournaments because I like all things leading up to the US Open. To me, it's just extremely exciting. I love the opportunity for US tennis. I love to be able to cheer for my favorite players. I love to just be in the atmosphere and in the world of tennis and around other tennis fans and around other tennis commentators and things of that nature. And so this happens to be one of my favorite times of year in tennis. And so I'm excited, especially for those of you that are newer tennis fans, or you're just coming into the world and you're trying to understand the game and you're trying to figure out who you like on the tennis court, and you're trying to figure out the rules and who should win and what happened to this person and why are they acting like that and all of those things. This is a great time of year for you. Just stay tuned to the channel, because we're going to be touching on all of those things. We're going to touch on, the different breakdowns that people are having and why certain people keep losing when it seems like they should be winning, and vice versa, why people are now winning when it seems like they're not good enough to win. There's always something more behind the scenes that's going on. And so those are some of the things that we love to cover. So as we move into the Mubadala Citi Open in Washington, D.C. this week, we will be covering whatever needs to be covered throughout this tournament. And then we're going to move right into Canada after that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the love. If you like this video, go ahead, click the thumbs up. If you love content like this, subscribe to the channel so that you can get notified every single time we put out a new video. It's Rochelle, the Courtside Queen, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.